In this episode, I'll be installing a solar system from start to finish. I recently built this roof over our bus, partly to collect rainwater and give us some shade, but also to give us something to mount the panels to. I'm setting out a string line here so the mounts for the panels will be perfectly in line. So this is the mounting system we've got. These feet go on the front of the panel and these are on the back. So the roof is currently at 10 degrees. You're meant to match the angle of the panel to the latitude that you live at. We're at about 40 degrees and the roof's only 10, so I need to angle that up a bit more. So that adds another 30 degrees, so that will put us at 40 degrees, which is about perfect. And then in the winter, as the sun goes lower, these extend, so that allows us to, if we're not getting enough power in the winter, we'll be able to lift those up and angle it towards the sun a bit more. I've just laid out the first solar mounts there, and there's just about enough of a gap for me to get around in case I need to clean them or possibly extend them to tilt them up a bit more in the winter. So now I've got to screw them in. Always feels a bit weird screwing holes into something that you've just built that's new, that's a roof, but it should be good. I've got little silicone pads with the kit, so should all be good. Right, give it a go. This is our old system, which consists of just one 65-watt panel. This morning we're going to try and get the solar panels on the roof. I say try because they're quite heavy and we may not be able to do it. We'll give it a crack, and if we can't do it, we'll have to enlist some help from elsewhere. See how we get on. Those are actually going up fairly easy. We've got the first three in. It's just when we were lifting it up, the wind just started to pick up. Not much, but those panels are pretty expensive and it's just not worth the the risk. There's like a couple of seconds when they're pretty much out of our hands, or we've only got the very end of it when we're lifting it onto that roof. It's just too sketchy. So it'd be much easier in the mornings or the weekends. So I think I'll leave it for today. So the solar and the roof are finally done. It's going to be so good. We're currently living off 60 watts of power, just one 60 watt solar panel. Each one of those panels is 390 watts and there's 8 of them. So that's just over 3,000 watts of power, which is more than 50 times the amount of power we currently have, which is kind of ridiculous, but it's good to have it. So today requires a bit of thinking, unusually for me. So on the roof we've got the solar panels. We need to come from the solar panels down into this, which is a DC isolator. From there we go out into a fuse box, which then goes into the solar inverter, out of the solar inverter into a breaker, out of that into the batteries, from the batteries back into here. Anyway, partly there's the complexity that I've got to figure out the wiring system, but also I've got to work out where I'm going to put this stuff. I built the back of the bus here fairly recently, in about episode 7. Bit of a shame to take it out, but it's the only way. So unfortunately I've got to rip out what I've already built, but it won't take too long, so get cracking. Every inch counts in a bus, so I want to bring the bed back a little bit, enough room for the batteries, but not so much as to ruin the space here. I've only got maybe about 30 centimeters, that much to play with at the end of the bed. There's not much space, so hopefully there's just enough to squeeze enough space for the solar system to fit here, and I can mount things on a board along here and have the batteries down here. This should work, I hope. These are lithium-ion batteries and there'll be 4 in total. I'm just making sure I can fit these in and close the bus door. I'm framing up a new wall to go inside the back of the bus. This will give me something strong to attach the solar kit to. attaching these inside the wall so that I've got something to mount some of the solar gear to. Some of it's quite heavy, so I don't want it just going into ply, whereas if it's got that, that will give it something solid to screw to. So I've brought the bed forward about 30 centimetres or 1 foot. It's just enough room for me to wall off that area so that I can stack the solar batteries at the back and then also hang an inverter from the wall. So we lose a little bit of internal space, but it's all good. So that's pretty much it. Just need to put some ply on it, insulate it, and it's done. Now that back wall's done, I'm just going to use these to go down the sides. So I've just scribed in a line. The bus is curved at the back, so all the lines need to be scribed, and then that will spit down either side of that back panel. Ideally, I'd like to have shunted the bed forward and given myself a bit more room, especially in case these things get hot. But there's no room to do that. Push the bed any further forward and it's knocking up against the wardrobe, and you know, space is precious in there. So I've just allowed for the exact size of these batteries and no extra room, but it works. So I'm going to stack batteries up here. There's another couple to go on, and then on this side I'll have everything that we need in this area mounted. You know, so the charge controller, the fuse board, all that sort of stuff will just go along here. I've marked out here where the battens are, so it'll just be easy to screw onto something strong, because some of the items are really heavy. So this is built pretty well. So that's that. I really didn't want to put in too much research into this project, and so I took the easy route and I bought all of this equipment as a kit. I'm really glad I did. It came with very clear instructions, which made the whole process easy. I'll link to the company in the description. So this is where I've got to so far. I've got the batteries all stacked up here. These will be wired up together. They'll go in through to the breaker box and then into the inverter. And then from the panels we'll have the cable coming down, drill a hole here, through to the DC isolator, to the fuses, and then to the inverter. So that is it, it's done. I haven't actually connected the solar panels yet because I want to double and triple check everything before I turn them on, just to make sure that everything, all the connections are tight and everything is in the right place. But so far all the batteries are all linked in together, they're all, and there's a communication cord between each one of them. That goes through into here, into the inverter, so everything should work, and then the next thing from here is just to run power out and into the bus and then into the plugs. So I'm pretty stoked to have that done actually. That's yeah, that's a cool thing to have finished.